Alright, so this next video is called Light's True Ambitions? Death Note Theory from Kato. All the links will be down in the description below. If y'all don't know, this is a series where I'm reacting to a playlist of over 1,000 videos that I've put together over the past 14 to 17 years. This is my favorites playlist, so these are all my favorite videos that I've collected throughout the past 14 to 17 years. I don't remember every single one of them exactly. Some of them I watched one time, put it up in there. Some of them I've watched over and over again. This is one that I don't entirely remember just based off looking at it. Maybe once we get into it, I'll remember more about it, but I think I might be going into this one pretty fresh. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and get right into it. And also, shout out to my Death Note Abridged series. If y'all want to check out what I have so far online for that, then go over to my main channel, DMT Infinity, and check out Death Note Abridged, short DNA. Let's go ahead and get right into Kato's video.
In Death Note, Light is a charismatic, silver-tongued young man, capable of manipulating everyone around him to suit his cause. His targets, in fact, become so charmed that they even begin to worship him as a god. Now, what do you think happens to a man who is treated like a god? Kira worship can hardly be called...
Well, they say that absolute power corrupts absolutely. I think it just depends on the person, really. I mean, you give the Death Note to somebody like, I don't know, L, I guess. He's not really going to do anything with it. You give it to somebody who wouldn't kill innocent people, but only kills like serial killers who kill like innocent people, or like actual like really bad people. And then it just depends on the person, unlike Light, who actually kills innocent people. But that's it. I guess it's not a whole nother topic because that's the video we're talking about. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of my perspective on it. I think that if he just stuck to killing bad guys, I would be more on his side. But the fact is that he doesn't. He also kills innocent people. So we're not talking about somebody who's doing this in the name of justice. At least not in any real way. But to give that sort of power to somebody who would only do that, and assuming that they're the kind of person who doesn't get corrupted by power like that, then they would be a completely different person than someone who's not. So it really just depends on the person, really.
anything other than a cult following. Charles Manson, Jim Jones, David Koresh, Light Yagami. What do these names have in common? They're all leaders of cults based around themselves. So to understand the mind of a man treated like a god, it may serve to look at some real-world examples. The primary comparison to be made between Light and the average cult leader is that manipulative personality that I mentioned earlier. It's a necessary characteristic of a cult.
Yeah, and I also think that it is very important to mention that not all cults are bad. Even the ones who use the same stereotypical tactics of brainwashing and influencing people, they're not actually all bad. Just because something is a cult doesn't make it bad. There are bad cults. Like, if you are a cult that worships the devil and sacrifices babies, then yeah, that's not a good cult. But I mean, if you're like a cult of like fans of Barney who like spread Barney the Dinosaur's message and like make Barney fan art, you know, it's like both cults, but two completely different types of cults whenever it comes to like morality and stuff. You know what I mean? So like, it's just like that. Not all cults are bad. Just like not all religions are bad. Not all philosophies are bad. Not all lifestyles are bad.
To be charismatic, to know what to say and how to say it to get people on your side. Without that level of charisma, these people's ideas would be totally ridiculous and they would garner no following. For example, Charles Manson's preaching spoke of an inevitable race war between white and black people, which he dubbed Helter Skelter, that the black people would inevitably win. However, they'd have no idea how to lead themselves, according to Manson, so they'd have to turn to whatever white people remained to lead their society. His plan was for his group to hide out to survive the race war, and take over when things cooled off. These ideas seem ridiculous to us, but Manson was capable of gaining like-minded followers who would believe his view of the world. He could convince them that his predictions were prophetic.
Didn't he allegedly, like wasn't he like allegedly like recruiting like young vulnerable men and women, like teenagers and stuff? And then he would allegedly like give them doses of LSD while he was either on smaller doses or no doses at all, so that he could brainwashed the Meteor? Isn't that what was alleged against him? If I'm not mistaken. Let me know down in the comment section below, question mark.
Alternatively, Light propagated the idea that killing bad people would eventually create a world where everyone was good and kind-hearted. While this idea seems ridiculous to some, the majority of the world has already accepted that some criminals should be killed because of the severity of their crimes. Because of the fact that Light is doing work that many people already agree should be done for the betterment of the world, his overall ideology is more palatable to a wider population than any other cult leader in reality or fiction. Cultists often become loyal enough to their leaders to be willing to kill or die for their sake. For an example of this, we need look no further than Jim Jones's cult, the People's Temple. He was able to convince his congregation to move out of the...
Is that the guy who put cyanide in everyone's Kool-Aid? Or is that a different cult leader?
United States to essentially create his own city. When you...
Again, let me know down in the comment section below if you know.
Congressman Leo Ryan flew out to Jonestown, as he called it, to meet with Jim Jones. His followers took Congressman Ryan's life, and the lives of many of those that came with him, because they, Jones and his supporters, thought that he was a threat to their lifestyle. Between Misa, Takada, and Mikami, thousands of human beings were likely killed in Kira's name, in an attempt to help move towards Kira's goal. The Manson family was also willing to kill to further their plan. They attacked and killed white people and attempted to frame the black community for their crimes, in attempts to ignite the race war. These cultists are unstable people, and once they've latched onto an ideology they agree with, it becomes the thing that matters most to them. The mission becomes worth more than any human life. That's why Jim Jones was able to convince his followers to upend their lives to join him on a pilgrimage out of the United States. And why Misa, Mane, and Teru Mikami were both more than willing to kill innocent people to help Light. Misa was even willing to kill her own friend at a moment's notice. It's also a common thread of many cults that have incited violence.
Yeah, man, and that that ending with the Teru Mikami as well, man, it's so fucking, I guess, pun intended, heart-shattering. But yeah, that is a scene that isn't like really focused on enough. Like, I know that a lot of people like have different views on it, but I mean, like, even in my Death Note Abridged series, I have to play that scene straight. Like, probably little to no comedy for that, just simply because like it is the moment where Teru Mikami isn't he genuinely believed that Light was God. You know, like he worshipped, like he would do anything for God. Just to find out, oh my God, I've been worshipping a serial killer. I've been killing people for this serial killer. And now my soul can either go to heaven or hell for all eternity. You know what I mean? It's people don't really pay that scene as much attention as it deserves, as far as like doing a Death Note analysis. Like that's a very disturbing moment in Death Note.
To have ties to the Christian religion. David Koresh was believed to be the son of God by some of his followers. Similarly, Light had always intended to become the god of the New World. This, I think, is a look into the true goals of these cult leaders. Whatever they claim to believe, what they all seem to want is idolization and power. They all want to wield power over as many people as they can, and they just use whatever means they can to attain that power. In Light's case, he found a notebook that could kill people.
You know, one thing that I did notice about Death Note, I don't know if it's a plot hole or not, or like some sort of an inconsistency, but like, we know how Light was before he got the Death Note, right? Because like we see him before that, like we know how he thinks, we know what kind of person he is, but whenever he loses memories of the Death Note, like he becomes a totally different person than he was at the start of episode 1. Like this, like, all innocent Light, like, the more that I think about that, the weirder it is. Cause like, he just seems like a totally different person than ever. Not just someone who lost their memories of the Death Note, like whenever Misa does. Because, like, we already see an example of, like, what happens whenever you lose your memories of the Death Note. Like, your personality doesn't change. But, I don't know. It's just something kind of weird that I found in the show.
so long as he knew their name and face. How could he take over the world with something like that? Well, there are probably a lot of options here, but one of them would be to garner public favor by killing people that the public...
Oh, and by the way, Death Note is my #1 favorite anime of all time. I have watched it on repeat for years and years and years and years. I love Death Note. I love Death Note so much. I love Death Note so much that I know that there is a 4th live-action Death Note movie, and I fucking love it, but the ending... I would have rewrote it, but the movie's really good. They don't have an English dub for it, but it's good. They do have English subtitles. It is the sequel to L Changed the World, the third live-action Death Note film. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. I love Death Note. Like any criticism that I give to it, it is because I'm a genuine fan who is obsessed with it. I've watched it religiously.
disagrees with to establish the killer as a public figure, while also demonstrating his ability to threaten anyone in the world, including any world leaders that oppose him, as acceptance for his ideals slowly grows in the back of the public's mind. Now, Light never explicitly admits that this is his real goal, but I think it is. After all, if he really agreed with what he was doing deep down inside of himself, then would Light without his memories really want to catch Kira, or to support him? Clearly he would want to support him. But as soon as someone who isn't him or one of his followers has the power of Kira, his thoughts are, he's evil, we have to stop him. This indicates to me that the goal of curing the world of evil isn't actually what Light cares about at all. Like all cult leaders, he just wants...
Yeah, no, So I would take it a step further and say that he believes that. But his actions do speak louder than his words. Like, once he starts killing innocent people... I actually point out in my Death Note Abridged series, because I have Ryuga as the voice of reason. That's one of the comedic beats that I have with him. And, like, he's like, Light. Like, while Light is hacking his dad's computer, by the way, Ryuga's like, Light, wouldn't it make more sense for you to not hack into your dad's computer just in case, you know, somebody traces it back to you and your family? You literally use a notebook of death that kills people from anywhere on the planet, and it leaves behind no traces. You could do this for the rest of your life without ever being caught. And you know, like, it's that kind of thing. Like, he never had to kill an innocent person. So, yeah, it's like that. Like I do believe that he believes that he is a good person. But he couldn't stick by his original plan either. The original plan does have, arguably, maybe potentially some validity to it. That is a long debate and a discussion to get into. And personally, I would like to, I would rather see people behind bars and rehabilitated or something, man. I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, but you know, there's some people that don't care if they hurt other people. I mean, what are you gonna do? Not shoot Chucky in the fucking head whenever he's walking at you with a knife, you know? But anyway, point being is like he skewed so far away from his original mission that he ended up becoming totally corrupted by his power, by the Death Note, whatever it is. He ended up becoming corrupted by it. And let's see, what's my point here? What was he talking about in the video? Oh yeah, right. So I mean, I don't think that it was like necessarily like a I'm going to say this but do this kind of thing. I think it was more of a I do believe what I'm saying, but then as time went on and certain things happened, he just started to skew further and further away from the original idea that he was trying to create with Kira.
Power. Unlike other cult leaders, though, Light actually has power that the average man can't have. He has the Death Note, an instrument that can truly turn him into God, if he plays his cards right. However, this type of idolatry has its effects on the idol. Their egos often become inflated. Light began to speak down to Ryuk, a god of death, like an underling. He underestimated his enemies, insisting...
Look, Light might talk down to a Shinigami, but Mello will strike the fear of God into one. Hashtag LOLs. All lowercase with a Z at the end.
That no one could be as worthy his opponent as L, who he had beaten, implying that no one could ever beat him. Light also placed little value in the lives of other people. There are plenty of times when Light contemplates killing those close to him just to avoid suspicion. He likely would have killed Misa, for example, the first time she was...
Oh, yeah, no. Remember, he wanted to kill Misa. Ren wasn't going to let him do that. So he ended up using that to his advantage to kill L. But, let's see, what was I going to say? Something about Misa, I think. Hold on, wait, what did he say?
Implying that no one could ever beat him. Light also placed little value in the lives of other people. There are plenty of times when Light contemplates killing those close to him just to...
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I mean, like, he even, in his head, debated on killing Sayu. His own little sister, so, I mean... Say what you will about, Light's original vision for Akira, but come on now. You gotta admit, he's going at least a little bit too far now.
Light's suspicion. He likely would have killed Misa, for example, the first time she was arrested. He even considered killing his younger sister and his father, and when his father did die, his inner
right?
monologue revealed little care for his loss. As long as it was to protect himself and his interests, he didn't care who else had to die. In episode 9 of the series, we see L confront Light in person for the first time. After their exchange, throughout which Light manages to keep a straight face, he returns to his room and has an outburst of rage, feeling more cornered by L than he ever had before. This is where some of that talking down to Ryuk that I had mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not, like, a therapist or a psychologist or any of that, so, like, this is just my own personal opinion, but I am of the, like, I take the side that Light is actually a psychopath, whereas L would be a sociopath. Potentially. It's just my opinion. I'm not entirely, I don't have the qualifications to say for sure or not, I guess. I don't know, but that's just my opinion.
As well. What really evokes anger in Light here is a feeling of powerlessness. He's supposed to be the god of the new world, who can kill anyone he desires at any time. Yet here sits his greatest opposition right in front of him, and he knows that he can't do anything about it. His inability to act is what sets him off. We see similar breakdowns in cult leaders who feel the noose tightening around their necks as well. Because they're raised to such a high pedestal and their followers expect them to never fail and lead them all down the righteous path, they begin to crack under the pressure like Light did. The most obvious example is again Jim Jones. As we see in the documentary Jonestown, the fear of his dreams slipping away from him and the loss of the power he had gained over his subjects turned him to substance abuse, and the altered state of mind led to violent outbursts and an array of suicidal thoughts. Ultimately, he decided to order that his followers join him in his suicide attempt by drinking poison, and any who resisted were forcibly killed. In the end, he even had a loyal follower shoot him in the head rather than take his own life. Unlike Jones, Light never actually wanted to die, but the willingness to sacrifice the lives of those who were loyal to him, like writing Kiyomi Takada's name in his own scrap of the Death Note stored in his watch, is a disposition he...
And again, if you want to check out this video in its entirety without my commentary, then you can go check it out on Kato's channel. All of the links will be down in the description and comment section. This video is called Light's True Ambitions, Death Note Theory.
Does share with Jones, like most cult leaders. The only difference is that Jim Jones's following is treated more like a cult, while Kira's following is treated more like a religion. Channels like Sakura TV refer to Kira as a god, and have their hosts dress in holy garments. Because of...
I mean, I don't mean this in any negative way at all. But I mean, like, all religions are just cults. I mean, the difference is just the size of it, and sometimes, like, whether the prophets did or not. But, like, it's really all the same thing. And it does go back to what I've said before. It's not, like, not all cults are bad. There are good cults. There are good religions, good philosophies, but there's also horrible ones as well.
The supernaturality of Kira's heinous crimes, they're treated like acts of God. He can kill anyone at any time from anywhere, and he righteously judges the guilty and punishes them. But what Kira supporters don't know is that Kira is really just Light, and Light Yagami is just a man. Granted, he's a genius who's intellectually on par with the greatest detective in the world, but he's still less than a god. We see proof of this in the final episode of the series.
The original mangaka of Death Note one time said that L is the smartest character in Death Note because the plot requires it. But yeah, I mean, Light would maybe not be second to him, because you do have like Mello and Nier, but he's certainly like up there with some of the greatest geniuses in the Death Note world. Yeah.
finally proven to be Kira to those who had trusted him throughout the entire series. His response was, so what? When everything he had built came crashing down, the usually cool, collected light Yagami began to lash out in anger at both the agents that were about to arrest him and Terumikami, his loyal follower, and even broke down in tears. This isn't the first time we begin to see the cracks either. He had built his position up so high in his own mind that he truly believed himself to be a god. He thought he was untouchable. The rude awakening...
Man, whenever I do this scene, whenever we finish off Death Note Abridged, hopefully I can get to that point, invest in Valentine Productions if you haven't already, so I can stop recording reaction videos through a freaking phone. I'm so sorry that I have to put out such low quality content right now, y'all, but ever since my laptop broke, I mean, I ain't got no more studio no more. But yeah, I mean, like, hopefully if I can get to the point of finishing a Death Note Abridged, then my voice actor is going to have to do, first of all, a few takes for that one. Secondly, they're going to need to give a really good performance as Light, because this scene is so iconic, and I don't want anything less than perfection for this scene.
Was, to use Nier's words, nothing more than a crazy serial killer, broke any shred of sanity Light had left. But in truth, Light was more than just a crazy serial killer. He was a crazy cult leader. Or maybe you're a Kira supporter. If you are, feel free to tear me a new one in the comments for being a heretic. Or whatever. I think Light's a very interesting character, and I love talking about Death Note, so I'm looking forward to reading what you have to say. Whether you love Light or hate him, if you enjoyed this video, please consider...
Alright, so that is Kato's video, Light's True Ambitions, Death Note Theory. Again, it'll all be linked down in the description in the comments section. But regardless, thank you all for watching this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.